Today we will learn triangle and its parts and the different types of triangles based on sides and angles. A simple closed figure made of three sides is called a triangle. The triangle is the polygon with least number of sides. You must have seen this type of sign on the road. We call it a triangle. Similarly, in daily life, we see many things that give us the appearance of the shape of a triangle, some of which are shown here. Pause the video and think about these. Let us join three line segments and make a triangle like this. These line segments are called its sides. The point at which two sides of a triangle meet, that point is known as a vertex. Any triangle has three vertices. Let's name them A, B, and C. A triangle is named using the name of the vertices. Like here, we will name the triangle ABC. In order to name any triangle, we start from a point and moving from one point to another, we write them in sequence. Like here, we have named the triangle ABC, this symbol of a triangle. This sign of a triangle indicates that we are talking about a triangle named triangle ABC. Since we can start from any point and move in any direction on the boundary, we can also give the name of this triangle BCA, triangle CAB, triangle ACB, triangle BAC, or triangle CBA. We can see that triangle ABC is made of three sides, the side AB, side BC, and side CA. This triangle has three angles. These are named angle A, angle B, and angle C. To describe them more precisely, angle CAB, angle ABC, angle BCA can be their names. Now, if we see, here BC is the side opposite to angle A. Similarly, AC is the side opposite to angle B, and the side opposite to angle C is AB. Similarly, we call the inner part of the triangle as its interior. This is its boundary. The part outside the boundary is called the exterior of the triangle. We can make different types of triangles. We can classify them on the basis of sides and on the basis of angles. Let's classify triangles based on the sides. Look here. Triangle ABC has AB is equal to 5 cm, BC is equal to 6 cm, and AC is equal to 7 cm. A triangle whose three sides are not equal is called a scalene triangle. Now observe this. Triangle PQR has PQ is equal to 5 cm, QR is equal to 5 cm, and PR is equal to 7 cm. Here PQ is equal to QR. A triangle with only two sides equal is called an isosceles triangle. In a triangle, we can show two equal sides using the same sign in this way. Now, if we talk about triangle LMN, then it has LM is equal to MN is equal to LN is equal to 5 cm. That is, all three sides are equal. A triangle whose three sides are equal is called an equilateral triangle. Now, will you be able to classify the given triangles on the basis of its sides? Try it. Let us tell you. These different signs on the sides of triangle ABC tell us that the three sides in this triangle are not equal, so it is a scalene triangle. By looking at triangle DEF, we find that the measure of side DE and side EF is equal, but the measure of third arm DF is not equal to them. Since only two sides of this triangle are equal, it is an isosceles triangle. Triangle XYZ has the same sign on all the three sides, so we can say that its three sides are equal. Hence, it is called an equilateral triangle. In triangle PQR, the measurements of the three sides are not equal, so this triangle is a scalene triangle. We can also classify triangles on the basis of angles. You must remember that an angle smaller than 90 degrees is called an acute angle. An angle of 90 degrees is called a right angle. And if the angle is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees, then it is called an obtuse angle. Now, let's classify triangles based on angles. A triangle with all angles acute is called an acute angled triangle. A triangle that has a right angle is called a right-angled triangle. Keep in mind, the right angle is represented this way. Similarly, a triangle with an angle greater than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees is called an obtuse angled triangle. Now, will you be able to classify the given triangles based on angles? Try it. Let us tell you. Triangle ABC has a right angle, so it is a right-angled triangle. Triangle DEF has an obtuse angle, so it is an obtuse angle triangle. Triangle PQR has obtuse angle, so it is also an obtuse angle triangle. Triangle MNO has all three angles acute, so it is an acute angled triangle. If we talk of triangle XYZ, then all its angles are 60 degrees. That is, it is an acute angle triangle. If we measure its sides, we will see that its three sides are equal. This shows us that it is an equilateral triangle. We can say that in an equilateral triangle, every angle is 60 degrees. Today we learnt about triangle and its parts and the types of triangles on the basis of sides and angles. In the next video, we will see some examples related to it. Understanding more about the triangle and its parts, today we will learn about the median of a triangle. Here we have a triangle made of paper. Suppose we have to find the midpoint of this side. Can you tell us how to do this? Think about it. To find the midpoint of this side of a triangle, we fold the paper in such a way that the two vertices of this side cover each other. We will draw the crease. The point where the crease intersects this side of the triangle is the midpoint of this side. Now, if we connect the midpoint of this side with opposite vertex, then we will get a median of the triangle. The median is the line segment that connects a vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of its opposite side. We can also draw median in a triangle by construction. First, we will draw a triangle and name it triangle ABC. Suppose here we need to find the midpoint of the side BC. Can you tell how the midpoint of the side BC can be found? Think about it. Let us tell you. For this, we will construct the perpendicular bisector of BC. We will do this in the following way. We will take more than half the distance of the side BC in the compass. Then we will put the pointed end of the compass on the vertex B. Assuming B as the center, we will draw an arc that is above and below the side BC, without changing the radius. Taken in the compass, assuming point C to be the center, we will draw an arc over the side BC, which will intersect the arc formed with point B at point D. Similarly, we will also draw an arc under the side BC, which will intersect the already formed arc at point E. Now we will join these 2 points so that we get the perpendicular bisector of the side BC. Suppose here the perpendicular bisector intersects the side BC at point H. In this way, point H will be the midpoint of the side BC. Now if we connect the midpoint H of BC to the vertex A opposite to BC in this way, the line segment obtained will be called a median AH of triangle ABC. We can say that the line segment that connects a vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of its opposite side is called a median of the triangle. Can you tell how many medians a triangle can have? Think about it. Exactly. Joining these vertices with the midpoints of their opposite sides, we can get 3 medians. That is, any triangle will have 3 medians. Will they always be in the interior of the triangle? Find out the answer to this question yourself by drawing a triangle and its median on the paper. Today we learned about the median of the triangle. In the next video, we will discuss about the altitude of the triangles. Understanding more about the triangle and its parts, today we will learn about the altitude of a triangle. Sometimes in a triangle, it is necessary
to find the distance between a vertex and its opposite side.
Suppose we are given triangle PQR and have to find its height. That is, we have to find the distance between the vertex P and the side QR. To find the distance, we can make line segment in different ways. Do all these give us the correct information about the distance between the vertex P and its opposite side QR, or say the height of the triangle? Think about it. No, not all of them give us correct information. From the vertex P, to find the height of a triangle, we draw a perpendicular to its opposite side QR, which intersects the side QR at point J. A perpendicular drawn from a vertex to its opposite side is called an altitude of the triangle. Here, line segment PJ is an altitude of the triangle PQR that forms a right angle on the side QR. This gives us the distance between the vertex and its opposite side. That is, height of a triangle. Now let's learn the method of making altitudes. Step 1. Suppose we have to draw the altitudes of the side BC from vertex A in triangle ABC. Step 2. For this, we will draw an arc from point A to the side BC by taking a convenient radius in the compass, which will intersect the side BC at point D and E. If necessary, you can extend the opposite arm from the vertex. Step 3. Without changing the radius in the compass, with the points D and E as centers, we will draw 2 arcs cutting each other in the side opposite to the vertex A. Suppose both arcs intersect at point F. Step 4. Now we will connect A to the point of intersection F. AF is perpendicular to BC. Suppose line segment AF intersects BC at point P. The new line segment AP is the altitude from vertex A to opposite side BC. Just imagine how many altitudes a triangle can have. Absolutely right. Just as we have created altitudes from vertex A to side BC, similarly, we can also draw altitudes from vertex B to side AC and from vertex C to side AB. That is, a triangle can have 3 altitudes. Since this is an acute triangle, you can see that all altitudes are in the interior of the triangle. Now you can take a paper and draw obtuse angled triangle on it. Draw all the altitudes in it. Do you get all altitude in the interior of the triangle? Find out by pausing the video. If we talk about an obtuse angled triangle, we can draw altitudes in this way. As you can see, the altitudes in an obtuse angled triangle can also be in the exterior of the triangle. Similarly, if we talk about a right-angled triangle, then its two sides are perpendicular to each other. This means that both the sides are also the altitudes of the triangle. And the third altitude can be obtained at the hypotenuse of the triangle by drawing a perpendicular from vertex to it. Today we learned about the altitudes of a triangle. In the next video, we will see examples related to the parts and types of triangles. Today we will see examples related to triangle and its parts. Example: classify the given triangles on the basis of their sides and angles. If we talk about triangle PQR, the measurement of the three sides of this triangle is different, so it is named on the basis of the sides. This triangle is called a scalene triangle. We can see that the angle PRQ in it is a right angle.
So, based on the angles, it will be classified as a right-angled triangle.
Seeing the figure of triangle EFG, we find that the two sides of this triangle are equal. So it is an isosceles triangle. Since one of its angles, angle GEF, is greater than 90 degrees, hence it is an obtuse angle, therefore it is an obtuse angled triangle. Next example. Identify the parts indicated in the triangle LMN. Here we are given triangle LMN. Observing the triangle, we know that its vertices are L, M and N. Sides are LM, MN and LN. And its angles are angle LMN, angle MNL and angle NLM. Now if we see, here the side MN is opposite to the vertex L. That is, MN is the opposite side of the vertex L. Similarly, the vertex and the opposite side pairs is the vertex N and the side LM and the vertex M and the side LN. As you can see here, the line segment LK is made on the opposite side MN from the vertex L. Here, from this sign, we get to know that here angle LKN is equal to angle LKM is equal to 90 degrees. That is, the line segment LK is perpendicular to the side MN of the triangle. We know that a perpendicular drawn from a vertex to its opposite side is called an altitude of the triangle. In this way, LK is an altitude of triangle LMN. Similarly, we can see that the line segment NJ intersects the side LM at point J. If we look at line segment LJ and line segment JM, both are marked with the same symbol. Can you tell me what do they mean? Think about it. Absolutely correct. Here these signs tell us that the length of line segment LJ is equal to the length of line segment JM. That is, the point J is the midpoint of the side LM. Since the line segment NJ is connecting the vertex N with the midpoint J of its opposite side LM, NJ is a median. The line segment that connects a vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of its opposite side is called a median. In this way, we have identified the parts of triangle LMN. Next example. In the equilateral triangle PTS shown here, TQ is the median and TR is the altitude. Find which of the following statements is correct. As you must know, a line segment that connects a vertex of a triangle to the midpoint of its opposite side is called a median. Since the line segment TQ is the median here, we can say that point Q is the midpoint of the side SP. That is, SQ is equal to QP. You can see SQ is equal to QP is given explicitly in the first statement, so we can say that the first option is correct. Now let's talk about the second option. Suppose the lengths of line segment SR and line segment RP are equal. As you can see here, SR is smaller than SQ. If this option is correct, then we can put RP in place of SR. Similarly, as we saw, SQ is equal to QP, so we can put QP in place of SQ. Then tell us, is inequality RP smaller than QP true? Think about it. Absolutely right. It is not true. Looking at the figure, we can say that RP is greater than QP here. From this, we can say that SR is equal to RP is an incorrect option. For the third statement, we need to understand the altitude. A perpendicular drawn from a vertex to its opposite side is called an altitude of a triangle. In this way, we can say that angle TRP is equal to 90 degrees. That is, the third option is correct. Only one perpendicular can be drawn on a line from a vertex. Since we have obtained this perpendicular TR from the vertex T, there can't be any other line segment which is perpendicular to side SP from the vertex T. In this way, we can say that angle TQP cannot be equal to 90 degrees. Hence, the fourth option is incorrect. So today we saw examples related to triangle and its parts. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to them. Today we will see some misconceptions related to the triangle and its parts. Misconception 1. Can the median of a triangle be equal to the altitude? Often in the examples, the median and the altitude are represented by different line segments, because of which children believe that the median and the altitude are always two different line segments. Therefore, children begin to assume that median and altitude of triangle can never be the same. With this understanding, they give the wrong answer and select option 1. Let us understand this with an activity. We draw an isosceles triangle PQR, on a paper. You can see that the sides PR and QR are equal. Now we will cut this triangle. Now we will fold this triangle forming two equal parts of the side PQ. While doing this, ensure that the crease formed on side PQ passes through the vertex opposite to it, that is vertex R. The crease obtained is a line segment that divides the line PQ into two equal parts, so we can call it the median. If we place the protractor properly at the intersection of this line segment and the side PQ, then we know that this line segment makes an angle 90 degrees on PQ. Since this line segment is a perpendicular from the vertex R on its opposite side PQ, we can call it an altitude. Thus, we can say that in a triangle, the median and the altitude can be equal. So, option 2 is the correct answer. Similarly, you draw an equilateral triangle and find whether the median and altitude in it are equal or not. Misconception 2. The teacher made a scalene triangle on the board and asked the children, how many altitudes can we get in the given triangle? To this, Rahul replied 1 and Kajal replied 3. Find out who gave the correct answer. Some children are well aware that the perpendicular, which is formed on the opposite side of any vertex, is called the altitude of the triangle. In the given figure, some children are only able to make an altitude on the side BA only from the vertex C. So they think that only one altitude can be obtained in the given figure. With this understanding, they answer option 1, which is a wrong answer. The correct understanding is that the altitudes can be inside the triangle and also outside. For example, if the side BC is extended here, an altitude can be made from the vertex A in the same way. Similarly, if the side AC is extended,
An altitude can be made from the vertex B.
in this way. In this way, we can draw 3 altitudes in any triangle. Hence, the understanding of Kajal is correct, that is, option 2 is the correct answer. Today we saw some misconceptions related to the triangle and its parts.
Today we will learn about the exterior angle of a triangle and its properties. A triangle is a polygon with 3 sides, such as triangle PQR. It has 3 vertices, just like triangle PQR has vertices PQ and R. It has 3 sides, just like triangle PQR has sides PQ, QR and PR. And it has 3 angles, like triangle PQR has angles, angle PQR, angle QRP and angle RPQ. As you can see, all these angles are interior angles of triangle PQR. When we extend one side of the triangle, like here, side QR is extended to S, then we get an angle. Can you tell me, what can we call this angle? Think for a while. Let me tell you. Since it is an angle located in the exterior of the triangle, we will call it the exterior angle of the triangle. Here, we have extended the side QR through point S. This gives us angle PRS, which is an exterior angle of the triangle PQR. Angle PRS is an exterior angle formed at vertex R of triangle PQR. Now consider this, if we extend the side PQ through M, then which exterior angle will be formed? You got it right. We will get the exterior angle, angle RQM, which is an exterior angle formed at vertex Q of the triangle. Similarly, if we extend the side PQ through U in the upward direction, we will get the exterior angle, angle RPU. Exterior angles can be formed for a triangle in many ways. If we extend the side QR towards the left, we get an exterior angle, angle PQT, formed at the vertex Q. Now you may pause the video and try to find the exterior angle by extending the side PR. Now look at this figure. Here, angle PRS is the exterior angle of triangle PQR. We can also see that angle QRP and angle PRS are adjacent angles. In addition to the adjacent angle, angle QRP of the exterior angle PRS, the remaining 2 angles of triangle PQR, namely angle RPQ and angle PQR, are called the 2 interior opposite angles or the 2 remote interior angles of the exterior angle, angle PRS. The exterior angle of the triangle and its 2 interior opposite angles share an interesting relationship. Let's understand this in the case of triangle PQR and its exterior angle, angle PRS. Cut out or trace copies of angle RPQ and angle PQR and place them adjacent to each other at angle PRS. As you can see here, angle RPQ and angle PQR together entirely cover the angle PRS. What does this tell you? Give it a try. You got it right. This shows us that the measure of the exterior angle, angle PRS of triangle PQR, is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles, angle RPQ and angle PQR, which means angle RPQ plus angle PQR is equal to angle PRS. So, now we can say that the exterior angle of any triangle is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles. Now take a piece of paper and draw triangle PQR and form its exterior angle, angle PRS. You can make any type of triangle. After making the triangle, find the measure of the exterior angle, angle PRS and the interior opposite angles using a protractor. Can you say that angle PRS is equal to angle RPQ plus angle PQR? Why don't you pause the video and find out? Each time, you will find that the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of its two interior opposite angles. Let's reconfirm this using a logical method. Here we are given triangle PQR, where angle PRS is the exterior angle. We have to show that angle PRS is equal to angle RPQ plus angle PQR. To show this, we will draw line RM from vertex R parallel to side QP of triangle PQR. Here we can see that side QP is parallel to line segment RM and QS is a transversal. With this information, can you tell us the relation between angle PQR and angle MRS? Think for a while. Let me tell you, here QP and RM are parallel and angle PQR and angle MRS are corresponding angles formed by a transversal QS of side QP and line RM. Since the corresponding angles formed by a transversal of the parallel lines are equal, therefore, we can say that angle PQR is equal to angle MRS. Similarly, here angle RPQ and angle PRM are alternate angles, and the alternate angles formed by a transversal of the parallel lines are also equal. So, angle RPQ is equal to angle PRM. If we talk about angle PRS, its measure is the sum of the measure of angle PRM and angle MRS, which we can write as angle PRS is equal to angle PRM plus angle MRS. If we replace angle PRM with angle RPQ and replace angle MRS with angle PQR, we will get angle PRS is equal to angle RPQ plus angle PQR. This verifies the fact that exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles. The above relation between an exterior angle of a triangle and its two interior opposite angles is referred to as the exterior angle property of a triangle. By now you must have understood the concept properly. Today we learned about exterior angle of the triangle and its properties. In the next video, we will see some examples related to this concept. Today we will see some examples based on the exterior angles property of a triangle. Find the values of x and 2x in the given figure. Exterior angle property of a triangle tells us that the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of its interior opposite angles. Can we solve the given question based on this understanding? Think for a while. Yes, we can definitely solve this question using the exterior angle property. Here we can see that angle ABD is the exterior angle of a triangle ABC measuring 123 degrees, and the interior opposite angles to this angle are angle BAC and angle ACB. Here the measure of angle BAC is x and the measure of angle ACB is 2x. From the exterior angle property of a triangle, we can write angle ABD is equal to angle BAC plus angle ACB, which means 123 degree is equal to x plus 2x, which means 123 degree is equal to 3x. We have to find the value of x here. On this side, 3 is multiplied with x. If we bring 3 to the other side, then we will have to divide 123 by 3. When we divide 123 by 3, we get x is equal to 41. So, 2x is equal to 2 multiplied by 41 degree is equal to 82 degree, and the value of x is 41 degree and the value of 2x is 82 degree. Next example, find the measure of angle BCD and angle BCA in the given triangle. Here, angle BCD is the exterior angle of triangle ABC, and angle CAB and angle ABC are the two interior opposite angles of angle BCD. As you know, the measure of the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles. Therefore, we can write angle BCD is equal to angle CAB plus angle ABC. Since angle CAB is equal to 80 degree and angle ABC is equal to 60 degree, so angle BCD is equal to 80 degree plus 60 degree is equal to 140 degrees. Now can you tell us how we will find the measure of angle BCA? Think for a while. We can find it using different methods. Here we can see that angle ABE is the exterior angle of triangle ABC and angle BCA and angle CAB are the two interior opposite angles of angle ABE. So, we can say that angle ABE is equal to angle BCA plus angle CAB. Or we can write it as angle BCA is equal to angle ABE minus angle CAB. Since angle ABE is equal to 120 degree and angle CAB is equal to 80 degree, therefore, angle BCA is equal to 120 degree minus 80 degree is equal to 40 degree. We can find the measure of angle BCA using another method. As you can see here, angle BCD and angle BCA form a linear pair. So, their sum will be 180 degree. Angle BCD plus angle BCA is equal to 180 degree. We can say that angle BCA is equal to 180 degree minus angle BCD is equal to 180 degree minus 140 degree is equal to 40 degree. We can also find the measure of angle BCA using angle sum property of a triangle, which we will discuss in detail soon. Always remember, in mathematics, we can find answers to any question using different methods. So today we saw some examples based on exterior angle property of a triangle. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to them. Today we will see some misconceptions related to the exterior angle of a triangle and its properties. Misconception 1. Can the exterior angle of a triangle be a straight angle? Some students get the wrong idea that the exterior angle of a triangle can also be a straight angle, that is an angle of 180 degree. But this is a misunderstanding. The reason being, it is not possible to make a triangle where the exterior angle measures 180 degree. Let's understand this. Suppose we draw a triangle PQR in which the angles are shown as given. If we keep reducing the length of the side PQ, then we will notice that the measure of the exterior angle PRD keeps increasing. When the points PQ and R lie in the same line, then the exterior angle will measure 180 degree. But in such a case, they will not form a triangle. From this you can understand that the exterior angle cannot be a straight angle. Hence, option 1 is wrong and option 2 is correct. Misconception 2. When the exterior angle of a triangle is a right angle, which of the following statements is correct? About each of the interior opposite angles, we note that the measure of the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles. Some students believe that if the exterior angle of a triangle is a right angle, then the interior opposite angles will be equal. That is, they will always measure 45 degree. But this is a wrong understanding because the measure of the interior opposite angles of a triangle can be different from 45 degree. For instance, it can be 30 degree and 60 degree or 20 degree and 70 degree, etc. Hence, option 1 is incorrect. Some students also believe that when the exterior angle of a triangle is a right angle, then one of the interior opposite angles is an acute angle and the other an obtuse angle. But this is not possible. Therefore, option 2 is also an incorrect answer. An acute angle measures less than 90 degree and an obtuse angle measures greater than 90 degree. If we add them, then the total measure will be more than 90 degree. Which means when the exterior angle of a triangle is a right angle, then the interior opposite angles cannot have one acute and one obtuse angle. The correct understanding is that the measure of the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of its interior opposite angles. Therefore, when the exterior angle is a right angle, that is an angle of 90 degree, then the sum of its interior opposite angles should also be 90 degree. This is possible only when the two interior opposite angles of the exterior angles are acute angles. Therefore, the correct answer to the given question is option 3. Misconception 3. Is the exterior angle of a triangle always an obtuse angle? From the examples, students often misjudge the exterior angle to be an obtuse angle. This makes them believe that the exterior angle is always an obtuse angle. But this is a misunderstanding. Look at the given triangles. What do you understand by looking at the exterior angle? Think for a while. You got it right. From this, you will observe that the exterior angle of a triangle can not only be an obtuse angle, but it can also be a right angle or an acute angle. Hence, option 1 is the wrong answer and option 2 is the correct answer. So today we saw misconceptions related to the exterior angle of a triangle and its properties. Today we will learn angle sum property of a triangle. Triangle is a closed figure formed by 3 line segments. Every triangle has 3 interior angles. For example, in this triangle, angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3 represent 3 interior angles. There is an interesting relation between the 3 angles of a triangle. Let us understand it. We will understand it through an activity. Draw a triangle on the paper and cut it. Name the angles of the triangle as angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3. Now cut all the 3 angles and separate them. Arrange them in a way as shown in the figure. Now you can see that angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3 together are forming a straight angle that is equal to 180 degrees. What do you understand from this? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. We can say that angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equal to 180 degree. That means the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degree. Let us understand this in detail. We have drawn a triangle here. We will call it a triangle ABC. Come on, let us measure all the angles with the help of a protractor. If we measure angle A with a protractor, we get 40 degree. Similarly, the measure of angle B is 65 degree and the measure of angle C is 75 degree. If we add all the 3 angles of triangle ABC, then we will get 180 degree. With this activity, we can understand that the sum of all the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. You can also draw a triangle on a paper and find the measure of all the angles. You will get the sum of angles as 180 degree only. Now, with the help of logical statements, we will verify that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degree. We are given that a triangle ABC whose angles are angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3. We need to show angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equal to 180 degree. In order to show that, we will extend the side BC passing through point D. By doing so, we will get an exterior angle of triangle ABC, which is angle ACD. Let us call it angle 4. We can see that here, angle 3 and angle 4 form a linear pair. That means angle 3 plus angle 4 is equal to 180 degree. But if we observe, angle 4 is the exterior angle of the triangle and the interior opposite angles of it are angle 1 and angle 2. Can you tell the relation between an exterior angle of a triangle and the interior opposite angles of it? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. The measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles of a triangle. Therefore, we can write angle 4 is equal to angle 1 plus angle 2. Since angle 4 is equal to the sum of angle 1 and angle 2, we can write angle 1 plus angle 2 in the place of angle 4 in the equation 1. By doing so, we get angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equal to 180 degree. From this, it is verified that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degree. This property of a triangle is called the angle sum property of a triangle. Today we have learned angle sum property of a triangle. In the next video, we will see some examples related to it. Today we will see some interesting examples of the angle sum property of a triangle. The measures of the angles of a triangle are in the ratio of 2:3:5. Find out the measure of each angle. We are given that the measures of the angles of a triangle are in the ratio of 2:3:5. From ratio, we are not able to know the exact measure. Like here, from this ratio we do not know the exact value of the measure of the angle. If we multiply an imaginary number with the given ratios, then we can find the measure of each angle of the triangle. Suppose this imaginary number as x. Based on this, we can say that the measures of the angles of the triangle are 2x, 3x and 5x. But according to the angle sum property of a triangle, the sum of interior angles is 180 degree. Therefore, we can say that 2x plus 3x plus 5x is equal to 180 degree. That means 10x is equal to 180 degree. We can write this as x is equal to 180 degree by 10. That is, x is equal to 18 degree. Since we have found out the value of x, now we can find the measures of the angles of the triangle. Here, 2x is equal to 2 multiplied by 18 degree is equal to 36 degree. 3x is equal to 3 multiplied by 18 degree is equal to 54 degree. 5x is equal to 5 multiplied by 18 degree is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, the measures of the angles of the triangle are 36 degree, 54 degree and 90 degree. Next example. Find the angles of triangle ABC given below. The angle sum property of a triangle tells us that the sum of interior angles is 180 degree. So here, we can write it as angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. Here, angle A is equal to x plus 5 degree, angle B is equal to 75 degree and angle C is equal to x. If we substitute these values in the equation, then we'll get x plus 5 plus 75 degree plus x is equal to 180 degree. That is, 2x plus 80 degree is equal to 180 degree. We can write it as 2x is equal to 180 degree minus 80 degree. That means 2x is equal to 100 degree. Or x is equal to 100 degree divided by 2 is equal to 50 degree. Therefore, we get angle C is equal to 50 degree and angle A is equal to 50 degree plus 5 degree is equal to 55 degree. If we want to verify the obtained answer, how do we do it? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. We will add all the three angles and check whether this is equal to 180 degree or not. Here, angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 55 degree plus 75 degree plus 50 degree is equal to 180 degree. That means our answer is correct. Today we have seen some interesting examples of the angle sum property of a triangle. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to the same. Today we will see some misconceptions related to the angle sum property of a triangle and an interesting example. Misconception 1. In the given figure, a ladder is making an angle of 40 degree with the wall. If the wall makes an angle of 90 degree with the ground, then find the measure of the angle between the ladder and the ground. Children don't face any problem in understanding that the angle between the wall and the ground is 90 degree. But they make mistakes while finding the unknown angle. Some students think that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 360 degree. They subtract the sum of given angles from 360 degree and find the measure of the unknown angle as 230 degree. With this understanding, option 1 is chosen, which is an incorrect answer. Similarly, some students have a misconception that if one of the angles of a triangle is 90 degree, then the other two angles are equal. With this understanding, they think that the measure of the unknown angle is 40 degree. So, they choose option 2. But this is also incorrect understanding. The correct understanding is that here we can apply the angle sum property of a triangle, which tells us that the sum of angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degree. So we can say that 90 degree plus 40 degree plus unknown angle is equal to 180 degree. That is, measure of unknown angle is equal to 180 degree minus 90 degree plus 40 degree is equal to 50 degree. Therefore, the correct answer is option 3. Misconception 2. Rahul and Meena are discussing about equilateral triangle. Rahul thinks that any angle of an equilateral triangle is not fixed, whereas Meena thinks that all angles of an equilateral triangle are fixed. Find out whose opinion is correct. Some students do not know the usage of the angle sum property of a triangle. They know that all sides of an equilateral triangle are equal, and also the angles are equal. But they do not understand that when all three angles are equal, the measure of each angle will be 180 degree divided by 3, that is 60 degree. Let us know why this is correct. This is an equilateral triangle whose angles are angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3. According to angle sum property of a triangle, we can write angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equal to 180 degree. Since in an equilateral triangle, angle 1 is equal to angle 2 is equal to angle 3, therefore we can write it as 3 multiplied by angle 1 is equal to 180 degree. That means angle 1 is equal to 180 degree divided by 3 is equal to 60 degree. That is, angle 1 is equal to angle 2 is equal to angle 3 is equal to 60 degree. Therefore, the angles of an equilateral triangle are always equal whose measure is 60 degree. Thus, Meera's opinion is correct. So option 1 is incorrect and option 2 is correct. Let us see an interesting example. Find out the measures of the angles of the given triangle. Here, angle UST and angle RSQ are vertically opposite angles. Therefore, both are equal. That means we get x is equal to 36 degree. Similarly, in the given figure, angle PQS is the exterior angle of triangle QRS. Angle QRS and angle RSQ are the interior opposite angles of angle PQS. The exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles. Therefore, angle PQS is equal to angle QRS plus angle RSQ. That means 120 degree is equal to y plus x. That is, y is equal to 120 degree minus x. Since x is equal to 36 degree, therefore y is equal to 120 degree minus 36 degree is equal to 84 degree. We can find the value of z in different ways. According to the angle sum property of a triangle, x plus y plus z is equal to 180 degree. That means z is equal to 180 degree minus x plus y. Z is equal to 180 degree minus 120 degree is equal to 60 degree. Similarly, we can find the measure of z by the concept of linear pair also. Here, z plus angle PQS is equal to 180 degree. That is, z is equal to 180 degree minus angle PQS. Z is equal to 180 degree minus 120 degree is equal to 60 degree. Today we have seen some misconceptions related to the angle sum property of a triangle and an interesting example. Today we will learn about some of the properties related to the addition and subtraction of the measure of the sides of a triangle. You know that a triangle is a closed figure with 3 sides, which has 3 vertices and 3 angles. In the previous video, we saw properties related to the angles of a triangle. Similarly, there are also properties related to the sides of a triangle. Let's learn the properties related to the addition and subtraction of the measure of the sides of a triangle in this video. Suppose you were asked to draw a triangle ABC, whose sides are AB equal to 4 cm, BC equal to 5 cm, and AC equal to 11 cm. So, will you be able to draw a triangle with the given information? Let's try to draw it. Here, we have taken 3 straws. Let's cut this straw at 4 cm using scissors or a knife. Similarly, we will cut this straw at 5 cm and this one at 11 cm. Now we will try to draw a triangle using the straws of lengths 4 cm, 5 cm and 11 cm. As you can see, we are not able to draw a triangle using the measure given here. Even if we place the 10 cm or 9 cm straws in place of the 11 cm straw, we will not be able to draw a triangle. But if we take a straw of length 8 cm, then we will be able to draw a triangle with the lengths 4 cm, 5 cm and 8 cm. Now, look at both these situations. In the first situation, we were not able to draw a triangle. But in the second situation, we were able to draw a triangle. What do you infer from these situations? Think for a while. Let me tell you. If we look at the second situation, we see that the sum of the measure of any 2 sides of this triangle is greater than the length of the third side. That is, AB plus BC is greater than AC AB plus AC is greater than BC and BC plus AC is greater than AB, and we are able to draw a triangle ABC in this situation. But in the first situation, the sum of the measure of the two sides of a triangle is not greater than the length of the third side, such that when AB is equal to 4 cm, BC is equal to 5 cm and AC is equal to 11 cm, then the sum of AB plus AC is greater than BC and the sum of BC plus AC is greater than AB, but the sum of AB plus BC is less than AC. Similarly, when AB is equal to 4 cm, BC is equal to 5 cm and AC is equal to 9 cm, then the sum of AB plus AC is greater than BC and the sum of BC plus AC is greater than AB, but the sum of AB plus BC is equal to AC. Here also, we were not able to draw a triangle in this situation. Based on these two situations, we can say that the sum of the measure of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. On the basis of this property, we found out that in a triangle ABC, when AB is equal to 4 cm and BC is equal to 5 cm, then the length of AC will be less than 9 cm. But can the measure of AC be less than 9 cm? Let's find out. When we take the length of AC as 7 cm, then the sum of the measure of any two sides of triangle ABC comes out to be greater than the length of the third side. That is, by taking AC is equal to 7 cm, we can draw a triangle ABC. Similarly, by taking the length of AC as 6 cm, 5 cm, 4 cm, 3 cm or 2 cm, we can draw a triangle ABC. But if we take the length of AC as 1 cm, then it is the result of the difference of the remaining two sides. In this case, we get the sum of the measure of the two sides AB and AC as equal to the third side BC. That is, in this case, the sum of the two sides of a triangle is not greater than the third side. So we will not be able to construct triangle ABC in this case. If we take the length of AC as less than the difference of the remaining two sides, that is less than 1 cm, say 0.9 cm, 0.8 cm, 0.7 cm, even then we will not be able to construct a triangle ABC, because in this situation, the sum of the measure of the two sides of a triangle is not greater than the length of the third side. So what did you learn from this? Think for a while. Correct. This shows us that a triangle ABC can be constructed only when the difference of any two sides of triangle ABC is less than the third side. In general terms, we can say that the difference of the measure of any two sides of a triangle is less than the length of the third side. In this way, we can say that the sum of the measure of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side, but the difference of the measure of any two sides is less than the length of the third side. Today we have learned about the properties related to the addition and subtraction of the measure of the sides of a triangle. We will see some examples related to it in the next video. Today we will see some examples of the properties related to the addition and subtraction of the measure of the sides of a triangle. Can a triangle be formed with the following measurements? We know that the sum of the measure of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. Let's use this understanding here. If we add 12 cm and 10 cm, the result obtained is 22 cm, which is greater than 8 cm. If we add 12 cm and 8 cm, the result obtained is 20 cm, which is greater than 10 cm. Similarly, if we add 10 cm and 8 cm, the result obtained is 18 cm, which is greater than 12 cm. By looking at these three conditions, we can say that on the basis of the given measures, we can form a triangle. Just think, To determine whether a triangle can or cannot be formed with the given lengths, it is necessary to check all the three conditions. Think for a while. Let me tell you, it's not necessary. If we add the lengths of the two shorter sides and compare it with the length of the largest side, we can find whether we will be able to form a triangle or not. If the sum of the lengths of the two shorter sides is greater than the length of the largest side, then we can form a triangle using the given measures. But if the sum of the lengths of the two shorter sides is smaller than the length of the largest side, then it shows that we cannot form a triangle based on the given lengths. Like here, we can see that the sum of the lengths of the two shorter sides is 10 cm plus 8 cm is equal to 18 cm, and the largest side is 12 cm. Since 18 cm is greater than 12 cm, we can say that a triangle can be formed with the lengths 12 cm, 10 cm and 8 cm. Next example. Which of the following will be the length of the third side of the triangle whose two sides measure 15 cm and 22 cm? As you may remember, the sum of the lengths of the two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side, but the difference between the two sides of a triangle is less than the length of the third side. Here, the sum of the lengths of the two sides of a triangle is 15 cm plus 22 cm is equal to 37 cm. Therefore, the length of the third side should be less than 37 cm. Therefore, the length of third side cannot be 38 cm. That is, option 4 cannot be the answer to the question. We also see that the difference between the two sides of the triangle is 22 cm minus 15 cm is equal to 7 cm. Therefore, the length of the third side cannot be 7 cm or less. That is, option 2 and option 1 are also the wrong answer to this question. As you know, the length of the third side should be more than the difference but less than the sum of the lengths of the two sides. Therefore, if the length of the third side is more than 7 cm but less than 37 cm, only then we'll be able to form a triangle. In option 3, we are given the length of a third side of the triangle as 12 cm. Since 12 cm is more than 7 cm but less than 37 cm, so we will be able to form a triangle with these lengths. That is, the correct answer to the given questions is option 3. Today we saw some examples of properties related to the addition and subtraction of the measure of the sides of a triangle. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to it. Today we will see some misconceptions and errors related to the addition and subtraction of the measurement of the sides of a triangle. Misconception 1. The sum of the measurements of any two sides of a triangle is greater than or equal to the length of the third side. Is this statement true? Some children think that the measurement of the sides of a triangle has no relation with each other. They think that the sum of the measurement of any two sides of a triangle can be greater than, less than, or equal to the third side. Because of this understanding, they give the answer as option 2, which is an incorrect understanding. The correct understanding is that the sum of the measurement of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. The sum of the measurement of any two sides of a triangle cannot be less than or equal to the measurement of the third side. Hence, the correct answer to the given question is option 1. Misconception 2. State whether the statement, the measure of any two angles of a triangle is greater than the third angle. Is it true or false? Some children think that this statement is true. Children know that the sum of the measure of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. With this understanding, children develop a misconception that the measure of any two angles of a triangle will also be greater than the third angle. With this misconception, they give option 1 as the answer, But this is an incorrect answer. Let us see an example to clear this misconception. Let's consider this misconception to be true for some time. In this triangle, we see that angle P plus angle R is equal to 110 degrees plus 35 degrees is equal to 145 degrees, which is greater than 35 degrees. Hence, here the sum of angle P and angle R is greater than angle Q. Similarly, angle P plus angle Q is equal to 110 degrees plus 35 degrees is equal to 145 degrees, which is greater than 35 degrees. Hence, here also the sum of angle P and angle Q is greater than angle R. But if we take the sum of the measure of angle Q and angle R, then it will be 35 degrees plus 35 degrees is equal to 70 degrees, which is less than 110 degrees. Hence, here the sum of angle Q plus angle R is less than angle P. But still, we have been able to draw a triangle. Note that the sum of interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Therefore, we cannot say that the sum of any two angles of a triangle will always be greater than the third angle. Hence, the answer to the given question is option 2. Now let us know about some common errors. Error 1. Based on the following measurements of the sides, determine in which situation can a triangle be drawn. Some children know that when the sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side, only then we can construct a triangle, otherwise not. They see that 4 cm plus 12 cm is greater than 7 cm, so they think that option 1 is correct. In option 2, they see that 3 cm plus 5 cm is greater than 7 cm. So option 2 is also correct. In both options, they do not consider it necessary to take different pair of sides and compare their sum with the length of the third side and ignore it. Since both the options appear to be correct to them, they give option 3 as the answer. But this is an incorrect answer. For option 1, we see the following situations. By looking at the second situation, one gets to know that the sum of the measurements of the two sides of a triangle is not greater than the length of the third side. Therefore, a triangle cannot be drawn on the basis of the given lengths. Hence, option 1 is incorrect. In option 2, we see the following situations. Since in all the three situations, we get the sum of the measurement of the two sides greater than the third side, we can say that a triangle can be drawn based on the measurement given in option 2. It is not necessary that we check all the situations. We can also check whether the sum of the measurement of the two shorter sides is greater than the length of the third side. In option 1, the sum of the lengths of the two shorter sides, 4 cm plus 7 cm, is less than the larger side, 12 cm. So, using the option 1, a triangle cannot be drawn. In option 2, the sum of the lengths of the two shorter sides, 3 cm plus 5 cm, is more than the larger side, 7 cm. So, we can draw a triangle based on option 2. So today we saw the misconceptions and errors related to the sum of the measurements of the two sides of a triangle. Today we will learn right angle triangle and the Pythagoras property. You must have seen many triangles in your life. Are they all of the same shape? Think for a while. Absolutely right. Triangles differ depending on the sides and the angles. When we talk about the classification of triangles based on angles, then we compare the angles of the triangle with the right angle. If all the angles of the triangle are smaller than the right angle, then we call it as an acute angle triangle. And if any one of the angles of the triangle is greater than the right angle, then we call it as an obtuse angle triangle. But if any one angle of the triangle is a right angle, then such a triangle is called a right angle triangle. As you can see, Some triangles are shown here. Pause the video and find out which triangle is a right-angled triangle. As you can see, the triangles shown in figures 2, 3, 5 and 8 have one angle as a right angle. So, this is a right-angled triangle. Consider figures 1, 4, 6 and 7. None of the angles here is a right angle. Therefore, we cannot call them a right-angled triangle. Children, in a right-angled triangle, sides are given special names. In a right-angled triangle, the side opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. In a right-angled triangle, hypotenuse is the longest side. The sides that are smaller in measure than the hypotenuse are called the legs of the right-angled triangle. Pythagoras, a great mathematician and a famous philosopher of the 6th century, discovered an important property related to the hypotenuse and the remaining sides of the right-angled triangle known as the Pythagoras property. Let's understand this property. Here is a right-angled triangle ABC with the measure of the hypotenuse AC as 5 cm and among the remaining sides AB measures 3 cm and BC measures 4 cm. Here, the measure of one of the sides of the right triangle is 3 cm. Let's draw a square with this measurement. As you can see, here we have drawn a square with side 3 cm. We will place this square along the 3 cm side of the triangle in this way. Similarly, we will draw another square with side 4 cm and place it along the 4 cm side of the triangle. And we will draw a square with side 5 cm and place it along the 5 cm side of the triangle. Can you tell me what will be the area of each of these squares? Think for a while. Let me tell you. Area of a square is equal to side multiplied by side, which we represent as side square. Note that whenever you see 2 written above any number a, we call it the square of the number a. This means that the number a is being multiplied by itself twice. That is, the area of a square with side 3 cm can be written as AB multiplied by AB is equal to AB square, which will be 3 cm square, that is 3 multiplied by 3 cm square, that is 9 cm square. Along with this, note that a square with area 9 cm square has a total of 9 squares with side 1 cm in it. Generally, how many squares of side 1 cm can be drawn in a figure is known as the area of that figure. Now, let's find out the area of a square of side 4 cm. Here also, we can say that the area of a square of side 4 cm is BC square is equal to 4 cm square is equal to 16 cm square. Similarly, the area of a square of side 5 cm is equal to AC square is equal to 5 cm square is equal to 25 cm square. Here comes an interesting point. Guess what this is? Think for a while. Correct. Here we see that 9 cm square plus 16 cm square is equal to 25 cm square. Or, in terms of square of sides, we can write it as AB square plus BC square is equal to AC square. This is an interesting relationship between the hypotenuse and the remaining sides of a triangle. In other words, we can say that in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the remaining sides. We know this by the name of Pythagoras property. This property has many uses, such as if the two sides of a right-angled triangle are known and we have to find the third side, or to prove that a given triangle is a right-angled triangle. Note that the Pythagoras property can be used only for right-angled triangles, but this property cannot be used if the triangle is not a right-angled triangle. Today we have learned right-angled triangle and the Pythagoras property. In the next video, we will see some examples related to these. Today we will see examples related to right-angled triangles and Pythagoras property. Rahul travels 15 steps east from his position and travels a distance of 8 steps towards north. If the distance of all the steps are equal and one unit is equal to 1 step, then find out how many steps he is away from his initial position. You must be knowing that we represent the directions this way. On this basis, let us draw a figure for the given situation. Rahul travels a distance of 15 steps from his position towards east. We will show this by drawing a line segment towards the east direction, whose length will be 15 steps. Let's name this line segment AB. It is also known from the question that Rahul travels a distance of 8 steps towards north from the point B. Tell me, how can we depict this? Think for a while. Absolutely right. Since the north and the east sides form a right angle, we will draw a line segment forming a right angle with the line segment AB from the point B, whose length will be 8 steps. We will name this line segment BC. We have to find the distance between A and C, which we show by the line segment AC. As you can see, a right-angled triangle has been formed here, in which the side AC is the hypotenuse and the sides AB and BC are the legs of this triangle. In triangle ABC, we know the measurement of two sides. Therefore, by using the Pythagoras property, we will find the measurement of the third side, that is the hypotenuse AC. Here, AC is the hypotenuse and AB and BC are the remaining sides of the right triangle. According to the Pythagoras property, in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the remaining sides. That is, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square is equal to 15 square plus 8 square. We get 15 square is equal to 15 multiplied by 15 is equal to 225. Similarly, we get A square is equal to 8 multiplied by 8 is equal to 64. Since 225 plus 64 is equal to 289, hence the hypotenuse AC square is equal to 289. To find the measure of AC, we need to find the number whose square is 289, that is, multiplying the number by itself gives 289. We see that 10 square is equal to 10 multiplied by 10 is equal to 100. Similarly, 20 square is equal to 20 multiplied by 20 is equal to 400. Since 289 is between 100 and 400, so the number whose square is 289 will definitely be between 10 and 20. Similarly, we get 15 square is equal to 15 multiplied by 15 is equal to 225, which is closer to 289. While doing this, we find that 17 square is equal to 17 multiplied by 17 is equal to 289. That is, AC square is equal to 17 square. This way, we can say that the measure of the hypotenuse AC is 17 steps. From this, we come to know that Rahul is 17 steps away from his initial position. Example 2. Dinesh has to draw a right-angled triangle. Can you tell which of the following measurements he should take so that he is able to draw a right-angled triangle? We are given 3 measurements in each statement. Find how many of these statements can create a right-angled triangle. If created, what will be the measurement of the hypotenuse? Think for a while. Let me tell you, in a right-angled triangle, the measure of the hypotenuse is greater than the remaining 2 sides. With this understanding, we can find the measure of the hypotenuse. In the first statement, we see that 9 cm is greater in measure than the remaining sides. so it can be the measure of the hypotenuse. According to the Pythagoras property, in a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of the remaining sides. We will use this property to determine whether or not a right-angled triangle can be formed by the measurements given in the first statement. Here, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to 9 cm square is equal to 9 multiplied by 9 cm square is equal to 81 cm square. And the sum of the squares of the sides is equal to 6 cm squares plus 8 cm square is equal to 36 cm square plus 64 cm square is equal to 100 cm square. Here, since the square of the hypotenuse is not equal to the sum of the squares of the remaining sides, a right-angled triangle cannot be formed by the measures 6 cm, 8 cm and 9 cm. Coming to the second statement, we see that the largest value here is 13 cm. So it can possibly be the measure of the hypotenuse. Here, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to 13 cm square is equal to 13 multiplied by 13 cm square is equal to 169 cm square. And the sum of the squares of the remaining sides is equal to 12 cm square plus 5 cm square is equal to 144 cm square plus 25 cm square is equal to 169 cm square. Here, since the square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of the remaining sides, 13 cm, 12 cm and 5 cm can form a right-angled triangle. Similarly, check yourself as to whether a right-angled triangle can be formed by the measurements given in the third statement. Today we saw examples related to right-angled triangles and Pythagoras property. In the next video, we will clear the misconceptions related to them. Today we will see misconceptions related to right-angled triangle and the Pythagoras property. Misconception 1. Can you use the Pythagoras property to find the measurement of the side AB in the following triangle? Some children ignore the fact that the Pythagoras property can be used only for right-angled triangles. But this property cannot be used if the triangle is not a right-angled triangle. They think that here, one side is greater than the remaining two sides, or sometimes it is not given in the question. But just by guessing, they consider that the triangle is a right-angled triangle. They think that Pythagoras property can be used in both these situations. But to this misconception, they give the answer as option 1, which is an incorrect answer. We know that the sum of the three interior angles of a triangle is 180 degree. That is, angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. Angle C is equal to 180 degree minus angle A plus angle B. In triangle ABC, angle A is equal to 70 degree and angle B is equal to 25 degree. Here, the sum of both the angles angle A and angle B is 70 degree plus 25 degree is equal to 95 degree. Therefore, the measurement of the third angle is 180 degree minus 95 degree is equal to 85 degree. Since none of the angles here is a right angle, the triangle shown here is not a right angle triangle. Since this is not a right angle triangle, we cannot use the Pythagoras property. Here the correct answer is option 2. Find the measure of the hypotenuse xz in the following example. Some children simplified using the Pythagoras property. Xz square is equal to xy square plus yz square. Since xy is equal to 6 cm and yz is equal to 8 cm, therefore xz square is equal to 6 square plus 8 square is equal to 36 plus 64 is equal to 100. After getting this sum, they forget to find the value of xz from xz square. They assume the value of xz to be 100 cm, With this understanding, they give the answer as option 2, which is an incorrect answer. Note that 100 is the value of xz square. To find the value of xz, we need to find a number whose square is 100. Since 10 square is equal to 10 multiplied by 10 is equal to 100, so we can say that xz square is equal to 10 square. Hence, xz is equal to 10. As a result, the correct answer to the given question is option 1. Misconception 3. In the right-angle triangle, triangle ABC, AC is the hypotenuse and AB and BC are the sides. Find which of the following statements is true for triangle ABC. Statement 1. AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Statement 2. BC square is equal to AB square plus AC square. Statement 3. AB square is equal to AC square plus BC square. Children do not understand the Pythagoras property properly. They think that in a right-angle triangle, the sum of the squares of any two sides is equal to the square of the third side. With this understanding, Statement 1, Statement 2 and Statement 3 appear to be correct to them. So, they give the answer as option 1, but this is an incorrect understanding. The correct understanding is that the sum of squares of any two sides in a right-angle triangle is not equal to the square of the third side, but only the sum of squares of the sides smaller than the hypotenuse is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. Therefore, the correct answer here is option 2. Today in this video, we saw few misconceptions related to right-angle triangle and the Pythagoras property.